Hey y'all, it's Kelly from Dixie Darlins Tumblers here, and I have got such a fun cup for y'all today that's giving me all the Lisa Frank feels. So it's this beautiful, bright, vibrant brushstroke pattern, and I'm gonna do a vinyl wrap on the cup, and the vinyl looks like it has silver glitter in it, so I'm actually gonna layer some real silver glitter over that. And then that was the perfect backdrop for this new holographic sticker that I got from the Vinyl Cottage. So I sent April this pattern, and we originally did it in the clear decal, but then she decided that she wanted to print it on holographic, and I was like, ooh, this sounds fun. So she prints it on holographic vinyl for me. It's available on the website now, but this was like the first little test run, and it was so much fun. It was perfect fit for this cup because it brought out the silver and the glitter, and then I'm gonna throw in a little holographic silver vinyl leopard. You know I can't leave off some leopard spots. And then about the same time, Counterculture came out with this reflective paint that kind of gives a chrome effect. So that was like another silver mix that was just so perfect for this cup. So I'm actually going to do the bottom of this reflective paint so you guys can see it. It's so fun. So I'm so excited for you guys to see this cup. It was a lot of fun working on. I love working on bright stuff, especially this time of year we're like getting into the Christmas mode. So this was kind of a fun little twist to do something a little bit different this time of year. So I'm excited about it. And I will list all the products that I use in the description box below. So make sure y'all check out those links as well as some discount codes I'll include for y'all. And as always, I tell you guys to join my Dixie Darlins Tumblers Facebook group. I go live every Sunday night. We have so much fun. It gives me a chance to hear from you guys and to just interact with y'all. I love it. It's so much fun. It's my most favorite time of the week. So join us over there, and please like, share, subscribe, all that fun, crazy stuff. Hit the bell button so you don't miss my future tutorials. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy it. Today we're starting with a 30-ounce skinny straight from Craft Haven. Y'all know these skinny straights are kind of my favorite to wrap just because they have no taper. And I have sanded the cup and wiped it down with alcohol, and now I'm just laying my vinyl down. So I've trimmed it pretty much to where it's going to fit the cup with a little overhang from the top and the bottom. And just like if you guys have seen me vinyl wrap, I'm just going to trim off this one little piece here where I can lay it down first to make sure that the vinyl's square on the cup before I continue on around with the rest of the vinyl. So I'm just going to press this first little edge here where the backing's off down on the cup, and then I'm going to pick it up, and you can see I'm just kind of making sure that it's staying pretty square on the cup here. And then I'm going to pull the backing, and then I'm going to let the pressure of me applying the vinyl to the cup peel the backing off at the same time. So I never really peel the backing off. I just kind of allow it to roll off as I'm placing the vinyl on the cup. And you guys figure out what works for you. I just tend to hold it on one side with one hand, and then with my right thumb mainly, I just kind of run down the cup and press it down. So that's just kind of my system, but you guys feel, you know, go with what works for you, what feels comfortable to you, so you can get the vinyl on the cup without a lot of air bubbles. I just kind of found that that's my system for doing it, and it works the easiest for me. And I'm just going to continue to work my way around the cup, and you can kind of see here, this has a rounded edge going around to the bottom. So I just try to make sure that I'm pulling it around the bottom where it's not going to have any air bubbles, where I've kind of been just holding it on that edge. I do want it to lay down around the cup really well without having some air bubbles. So you can kind of see, I just kind of go back in from time to time, and I'll just pull it where it's really tight coming around that edge. And if there are little areas that you kind of have to lift it back up a little bit right there, you can just do that. Like, it's okay because the backing basically is still on the remainder of the vinyl, so you're not going to have a mess. So that's why I prefer doing it this way. I can lift up a little bit, and I can actually use the leverage of where the backing's still on that vinyl to kind of lift it off the cup without really getting into, like, because I've done that before. And if you ever get this really out of line and your backing's off, it's a mess. And it's like I've thrown some vinyl away because I'm like, this is just not going to work. It was never going to lay straight. So for me, as long as I can leave the backing on there, or the longer the better. And then when I get to about this place here, you could do it before, but I am going to lay a piece of painter's tape down here. I cannot cut a straight line, so you guys know if you ever see me wrap vinyl, for the most part, with maybe an exception here or there for whatever reason, you're going to see me lay down a piece of tape. So that gives me an edge to run my craft knife down, number one, but it also gives me a little bit of overlap. So for whatever reason, previously when I have tried to cut vinyl without a little overlap like that, and I try to cut it right on the seam, it ends up, I see the cup through there, and I don't like that. I prefer just to have a little bit of overlap where you're not going to see the stainless steel of the cup show through the vinyl for whatever reason. So I'm laying my tape down, and then I'm going to go back and I'm just going to continue to press the rest of the vinyl down on the cup, and then I'm going to take my craft knife to trim that seam right there. So you can see I've just pressed the vinyl down really good where I can see my seam. I'm just taking my craft knife and I'm going to run it right down on the edge of that tape, so it creates just the tiniest bit of overlap where I can't see the cup through it. Then I'm just going to peel this excess off, and then I'm going to remove my tape, and I'm going to pull down on the top and the bottom very tight here. After I get my tape removed, I'm just going to pull down on the top and the bottom just so I make sure that it's pressed up against the cup. And then after I've done that, I'm just going to take my craft knife and I'm going to trim off the excess here. I'm just going to trim it right along the top. I am going to sand the top rim so it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I have trimmed off a good bit of the bottom. It was just too much. So I'm just going to pull this around as tight as I can to get it across that little ridge right there. Mainly, I'm just making sure that there's no little creases or air bubbles from where the cup is rounded around from the side to the bottom. So I'm just going to pull that off. I am going to create a pretty large bottom on this. Like, I'm going to cover it so I don't have to have the vinyl into that smaller circle like I'm going to put a center on it. I'm just making sure that it's basically pulled around to the bottom. And you can see I'm trimming this vinyl out pretty far out to the edge of the cup. I'm not doing it like I normally do it inside that little circle. I'm cutting it pretty far out on this one because I am going to cover the bottom anyway. And then I'm just going to take off that excess there, and then I'm going to go into a layer of epoxy. So I'm using about 25 milliliters of Counterculture's medium viscosity artist resin here. I've mixed up more because I'm usually doing more cups, y'all know by now if you've watched any of my tutorials. But I am just going to do a quick little coat here, and I'm going to add some glitter into this. So I don't want this to be too heavy of a cup, and I probably didn't even use 25 milliliters. You actually could do the epoxy method with this. I just wanted to provide a little more coverage on the cup to start with, and to get around the bottom of the cup. So I just went ahead and just added epoxy, but definitely not as much as a normal coat here, but enough that it would cover the cup pretty well. And I'm just gonna mix in a little glitter here. Where you see those areas that look like they're silver glitter, we're actually gonna put silver glitter on them, and then use the silver glitter to blend in that seam a little bit. And so I'm starting out with just a little bit. I like to take it in my hand and just kind of sprinkle a little bit as I go, just trying to get a feel for how much I actually want to put on the cup. And this is actually Argentum, I believe. I'll list it in the description box below. Y'all know I will butcher a name with my southern accent. But this is by Diamond Luxe Glitter, and it's this really pretty bright silver that has these little bright holographic stars mixed in. So I thought it was the kind of the perfect mix for this. So I'm just going to start out using a little bit, and then I'll kind of go heavier as I feel that I need more coverage. And then I'm going to go in with a little bit of Guy Diamond by Peachy Olive Glitter. This is a super sparkly holographic. This is like ultra sparkle silver here. And I end up adding a little bit more than I originally anticipated, because once I put it on there, the sparkle was just so crazy that I couldn't stop really. It was so sparkly and so pretty that I just loved it, so I kept adding it. And this is all, you know, your discretion, y'all. You kind of do it like you want it. You add until you're liking. There's no right or wrong here. It's just very much your own vibe, your own feeling. And so you can kind of see that's how I do. I just kind of start with less, and then I just work until I'm happy with kind of how it looks. And if that means adding other glitter colors, or, you know, whatever it is you guys add, just keep adding until you like it and the way it, you know, it makes you happy. And so after I've let that coat dry for about 6 hours, I am going to go in with another coat, and this time I'm going to go in with a little bit thicker coat because I'm going to cover up this glitter. So I do use about 25 milliliters this time, and it's Counterculture's medium viscosity artist resin again. And I'm going to apply this coat. I'm going to use my torch to pop any bubbles, and I am going to let it dry for about 8 hours before I'm going to go in and apply my decals with my Prey decal, and then also my Leopard spots. So now that I let that coat dry, I'm gonna go in here with my holographic sticker, y'all. Look how perfect this was for this cup. It was so perfect. I mean, it could not, like April could not have decided to do these holographic decals at a better time than this one right here. It was the perfect mix for this cup. I'm just trying to make sure that I get it in the spot that I want. It's kind of across from where the seam is, and it's a good open area. It's kind of what I was looking for. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that to the cup, and then we're gonna go in and add some leopard spots. And you can see how easy this is, but it was just like the perfect little sparkle. So I have a feeling I'm gonna want a lot of holographic decals coming from the Vinyl Cottage now. And then this was just a pattern that I purchased on Etsy. I'll link it in the description box below with the leopard spots. And I'm gonna go in there and I'm just gonna kind of randomly place them in the open areas that don't have glitter or leopard. So kind of just where those bright colors are, I am gonna go in and layer this on top of this. And this is the Starcraft Deceit, I believe is which one it is. I'll link it in the description box below. It is from the Vinyl Cottage as well. It's the silver, and it was just kind of the extra little silver sparkle that I needed on the cup. And I didn't really want too many of them. I just kind of wanted them randomly placed in the open areas. So you can kind of see, it's my famous word that it is randomly strategic or strategically random. So I'm randomly putting them on the cup, but in a very strategic way from where my brain works. So once I get all those on there, I am gonna go in here, and the cup was not tacky, but I wasn't worried about any of these lifting off. If you've waited for a while to apply any of these, definitely go in with a layer of Counterculture's Quick Coat before you go into epoxy, but these were stuck pretty well, so I wasn't worried about them lifting here. So I am just gonna go right into my next layer of epoxy, and it's 25 milliliters of Counterculture's medium viscosity artist resin. I'm gonna apply that. I'm gonna use my torch to pop any bubbles, and then I'm gonna be ready to work on the bottom of my cup with this new reflection mirror finish paint from Counterculture. So this is a reflection mirror finish paint from Counterculture. It comes in a little 1 ounce bottle. And I just decided just to kind of see how the bottom of the cup would work this way, and it would give it a good opportunity to like bring it around to the side. I actually was gonna add some purple alcohol inks in it, but I ended up not using that for the bottom of this cup and just doing it a solid chrome finish on the bottom. And you can see it does not take very much. It takes very little of this paint. So a little bit of this goes a long way. And basically I'm just taking a paintbrush and I'm just kind of painting it on there and just kind of using the brush, like kind of coming around the side where it does look like a random brush stroke. And you can see that it provides really good coverage here. So this is only one coat, and basically I'm just working a little bit of it around the cup, and it totally covers it and creates this really pretty chrome finish. I fell in love with this. This was so much fun. So let the paint dry for about 30 minutes, and then I'm gonna go into my final layer of the Counterculture's medium viscosity artist resin. Here again is my final coat. I've mixed up about 25 milliliters, and that's about what it's gonna take on this cup. So I am gonna apply this epoxy, and then I'm gonna use my torch to pop any bubbles, and then we're gonna have our finished design. And then after we let this coat dry, we have our final design. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. I hope that you guys will go get a holographic decal. I cannot wait to have more of these available. I can assure you I'll be working with April for more of these to come in the future. They were so much fun. And just adding all the silver mix. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, all that fun, crazy stuff. Hit the bell button and subscribe so you don't miss my future tutorials. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see y'all again soon.